A generation to generation Cowboys and sports talk. My dad, my partner, my co-host, Cowboy Joe 64.
I am your father.
Just to get the Cowboys 2 good games to hopefully understand that they need to go receiver and go high with this next pick.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what this is gonna be about.
All right, you're looking live at Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, Cowboy Jules. I'm joined with my dad, Cowboy Joe, also known as Cowboy Joe 64 on Twitter, and we are back with another one on a what is it, a Wednesday night?
It's
Wednesday night.
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. We just gonna drop something real quick and just kind of chop it up about the Maxx Crosby thing that's been going on. And so, you want to say what's up to everybody and what you think about? Well, what I say we was gonna talk about was what we should give up for Maxx Crosby. And so, I'll let you say what's up to everybody, and then we can talk about what we should give up, being that we have a difference of opinions on that.
Yeah, that's the thing that I kind of like about our show. We father and son content creators, but we definitely don't agree with everything. I mean, you kind of a fourth generation, I'm third generation, so just kind of look at things different. We're not trying to shun each other ideas, but the Max Crosby thing, to me, and appreciate you guys for joining. Um, the Max Crosby thing is kind of a slow news day story, but stuff started going out about this trade, and then the Raiders shot it down.
Uh,
And then Brian Broaddus said today, which I think is absolutely probably true, all of these deals are a possibility until they happen. So, the Cowboys said they would never trade Micah. Raiders saying they're not going to trade Max Crosby, but don't be shocked if that's exactly what happens. So, what you and I are talking about is compensation. I'm just kind of leery on the Cowboys doing a trade because they just don't do a good job with trading. They've had the Amari Cooper trade,
what's up,
George
B
Pickens
Bird?
trade. Hey, B Bird.
We got to give B Bird his props on this. He was the first person I heard say, "Go get Maxx Crosby." He was the first person I heard say it,
Yep, yep.
and he said it on this show. What's up, Ken? Jerry is working on something. I'm telling you, yeah. We kind of believe that too, Ken. I mean, really, to be honest, it's just like my dad said. I mean, you can all say these things are going on, but it's not official until it happened. But I mean, if you was to try to make sense out of it, to me, if you were to try to make sense out of it, it would make sense for you to say for the Raiders to say no, we're not trading Max, and it would make sense for the Cowboys to say no, we're not inquiring on Max. You know, um, they had a guy on this morning on the fan, and they said that somebody from the Raiders had talked to Steven about Micah back when before training camp and when training camp was going on. They said somebody from the Raiders talked to Steven about Micah, and they asked Steven had he received any phone calls on Micah, and his answer was no, we're not fielding any phone calls, and we haven't seen any phone calls. We haven't received any phone calls on Micah. Well, the people for the Raiders that he was talking to, he was just like, well, we know that we had just talked to Steven, but we was talking to Steven via text and email. So yeah, he
And
was
Steven
right.
also and Steven also said he would never trade Micah.
Right. So it's just semantics. It's just like, they don't have to, and Jerry went on Stephen A. Smith show and said he hadn't even thought about trading Micah. So I mean, I'm saying all this to say you can't believe nothing that they say. And it just doesn't
Yeah.
make sense to talk about your deals that you're doing while you're doing them. It doesn't make sense to do that because
And the Raiders are saying that they're not going to trade him. They talked to him. The reason they're doing that is to drive up the price.
right, and that's what you're supposed to do. So they want to now they're gonna make it seem like he's their best. He is. He probably is their best player, but they're gonna make it seem like, oh my God, we'll do anything that we can to keep him. You know what I mean? So you drop up the price, but where we got a difference in opinion is I think the Cowboys are. I think the Cowboys are doing something, are going to do something. I thought they were going to do something before the draft, and I turned out to be right with George Pickens. And I think they're going to do something now. What really frustrates me and what really scares me is that the main teams that we are rivals with, and the main teams that we want to beat in the long run, those teams are aggressive, and the Cowboys are not. And we're interested in the same positions, like the Eagles and the 49ers. The Eagles and the 49ers are both interested in edge rushers, linebackers, and corners, because the Eagles they interested in edge rushers, they interested in linebackers and corners, and then you got the 49ers. Fred Taylor, just is that his name? Fred Taylor.
Uh, Fred Warner.
Fred Warner just went down with a season-ending injury, so they looking at edge rushers and linebackers too. And so the fact that the teams that are looking at the same positions we're looking at, they are very aggressive, and we know that without the shadow of a doubt that they will definitely get Maxx Crosby before we do if we not aggressive. So the Eagles and the and the 49ers. So, that really kind of just makes me nervous a little bit, because it's not good for the Cowboys, because number one, they can drive the price up for us by, what I'm saying, us having to compete with them in order to get him. And then second of all, if they get him and we don't get him, and it just makes us look bad, they'll have him and we won't. And then on top of that, it's just like, Jerry and Steven, they might get outpriced. You might have one of these teams that, like the the picks teams, like the Eagles and the 49ers, who just say, we'll give you a 1 and a 2. And, then you might have, then they come to Jerry and say, well, they're saying that they'll give me a 1 and a 2. So the only thing that you can do is give us a 1 and a 2 ones. Or they might say they're giving them a 1 and a player. And now they looking at us like, okay, well, you can give us a 1, but it got to be a better player than what they're giving us. And so it's kind of like,
What you just described is why we have a difference of opinion, because I believe there's a potential that it'll go down just like that. Jerry and them have done some good trades, but by and large, they just don't do a good job with trades. They get fleeced for the most part. So I think you're right. I'm not disagreeing with the getting a player. I would very much like to have Maxx Crosby, but I just think one of us is gonna be proven right. I believe that Maxx Crosby will get traded. When he gets traded to the Eagles, the 49ers, the Ravens, or the Chiefs, when we see the deal, we're gonna say, man, how did the Chiefs or the Eagles give up? They didn't really give up a lot to get Maxx Crosby. When Dallas does a deal, it's gonna be the opposite. We're gonna say, we can't believe they gave up that much. Hey, there's a guy on Twitter. You will like this deal. I'm gonna just describe this to you. Now, this would probably make sense to me. So his name is Carl Anthony, not the Carl Anthony that plays in the NBA. So his proposal is for Maxx Crosby. He's giving up your first round pick. Now he didn't say if that was your pick or Green Bay's pick, which matters. But he just says 2026 first round pick. You're giving them your third round pick in 27. You're giving them Brock Hoffman, and you're giving them Terrence Steele. Now that's a lot, but the way he breaks it down, he says the Vegas O-line is abysmal. Dallas is not going to re-sign Hoffman in the offseason, which is probably right. He also says if you move Terrence Steele, you're opening up $14 million in cap space. So that deal right there is a little rich, still too rich for me, but it's something that you would probably be okay with.
well, the thing about it is, it's no, well, I mean, I want to keep Hoffman over Bass. I mean, I like the deal. I would do the deal. But I would rather keep Hoffman and send them Bass. And then with Terrence Steele, you're going to open up that cap room whether you trade him or cut him.
Yeah.
So my thing is, here's the thing: the ceiling for them is 2 ones and a 3 or something like that, and the floor would be like a 2 and a 4. So
Yeah,
if you
there's no scenario where I'm giving somebody 2 ones. I'm just not.
let me see,
You go
that's
ahead.
what, yeah, that's where the difference of opinion comes in at, because if to me, if you want to, if you okay with the deal, you got to be okay with giving them 2 ones, because at this juncture you are really close the way that Dak is playing. And you know, what he does, if he was on this team at the beginning of the year, they probably beat Green Bay, they probably beat Carolina, it very possibly beat the Bears. So if you add him to this team right now, you probably looking at 10, 11 wins this season. And then on top of that, if you give them the 2 ones that Green Bay gave you, they second, they really second round, early second round picks. And then on top of that, at that point, you say, okay, we traded Micah, and we got Kenny Clark, we got Maxx Crosby, and we got Kenny Clark and Maxx Crosby for Micah. That's and you got a player in Crosby that you don't have to pay as much as you were going to pay Micah, because he's like at 32, Micah's like at 45 or something like that, 40 or something like that.
Let me interject right there, not to cut you off. The other thing that I'm not hearing with this Crosby trade, so a lot of these players when they get traded, whether it's Max Crosby or Hendricks or whoever it is, before they even agree to the deal, their agent is on the phone with you, reworking the contract. So
And that would
I
benefit the
just
Cowboys, because if they rework the
well,
contract, that pushes his salary out further, which means that it's more cap room available.
that's possible, but it's also gonna it could end up being that you're basically gonna pay him a little less than what you were willing to pay Micah. So when you
No,
say
no, no.
rework his contract, what do you
Mm-hmm.
think he's going to end up actually making per year? I
32,
think it's
33.
I don't think he's going to rework a contract to make that amount. But I mean,
I
I
mean,
need to see the details just because I don't
but
see it.
how much he make per year really don't matter, because they can pay him 38 or 40, but if they stretch it out for 5 years, then it won't make a
That's
difference.
I mean that's true. I mean I've seen that done. So, but look,
Yeah.
bottom line is,
Like for instance, think about it like this.
mm,
This year he owed 32 million or whatever. That's prorated. What if they were to just say, hey, we're gonna keep your deal in place. We might give you an extra year, and you make what you're making now. We convert your, or we can give you 4 or 5 million. So instead of you making 30, 32, you're making 37. And we convert the
mhm.
rest of your salary this year to a signing bonus. That means you have no, I mean, he don't hit the cap at all this year. At all.
I,
He won't hit the
I,
cap
w-
this year
I,
at all.
I will give you this. What you just said, that's what the Eagles will do.
Yeah.
That's what the Chiefs will do.
That's the smartest
That's what
thing to do.
that's what the Ravens would do.
Right.
Our organization, they don't know how to do deals like that.
I mean, well, our organization ain't, our organization don't go get Maxx Crosby in the first place.
Yeah. So,
So, and then another thing to add on to that, do you want Maxx Crosby, or do you want Donovan Izaraku and Luke Schoonmaker and
mm,
Mozzie Smith and Tyler Guyton? Is that who you want? Because what you're gonna do is, when you don't, if they want two first and you don't give that to them, then you punt the season, and then you say, okay, well, we punting the season. George Pickens probably gonna play himself out of his contracts. No point in signing him. You punted the season. You can sign him next year. I mean, he gonna want 36. You know what I'm saying? They probably not gonna do that. And so it's just like, but if you get a 2-1 and you get Maxx Crosby and you make the NFC Championship, George Pickens will definitely get signed in, because it's gonna be like, hey, he wants to win. Everybody wants to win. But if you don't, and you just end the season with 5 or 6 wins because you didn't give up your first 2-1, now you're looking at, okay, well, George Pickens probably not going to resign. And then you're looking at also, we got two more years to figure out
mm,
if these draft picks are going to work or not. And then on top of that, like, you got people like Dan Quinn, Ron Marinelli, you got Zim, Eberflus running your draft and picking
yeah,
players that just
that's
are
that's a
just
problem.
bad.
We
So
got to do a whole show on how this organization, the way they do drafts, just the way they're structured.
because
They
I can
got
tell you
30
right
years.
now,
Yeah.
before you said it, I can tell you right now, if you keep those picks and Eberflus is here next year, those picks are going to be wasted picks because he's going to pick players for his defense because it's
Now,
obvious that they
yeah.
picking defensive players next year and the year after that.
Mm.
So
On
you
on that
Eberflus,
side, of the argument,
yeah,
you're winning me over. So if you gave me a choice to have Max Crosby and a one, I'm not giving two ones. So Max Crosby, you get one of my ones, and I keep my other one, and then, but you're absolutely right. With what they've done over the years, they've allowed Dan Quinn, Marinelli, and those coaches run the draft. And what ends up happening is those coaches pick players that they like. They're not scouts, by the way.
right?
And then what ends up happening is when those coaches leave, we're stuck with those players like Nashawn Wright, Kelvin Joseph. Uh, really,
Mozzie.
someone picked Mozzie, and he was just a leftover. And you're going to see the same thing with Sam Williams. Marshawn Nealon was drafted by Zim at the number two. He's not going to be an impact player. So I agree with you on that. And we got to do another show. Eberflus, I'm sorry, I'm still not buying it. I think he should be one and done. And so, just to piggyback on your point, there is no possible way that I'm allowing Matt Eberflus to have any say so in personnel. We should just pick players that fit the 4-3 system, pick good players. Players like Fred Warner, uh, people like that, your edges. Just pick someone that will fit the system, not someone that a coach likes because
And
that's how they
you should
messed up their drafts.
have is that Jules?
I could hear him. Yeah,
You should
I
have
thought he was in over here.
no. You should have no coaches except Schottenheimer in there with you going over picks. No coaches. It should be all scouts. It should be
Yep.
all Will McClay. It should be all everybody else. Now, if you want to have Schottenheimer in there with you, that's cool because Schottenheimer is the head coach, and
Mm-hmm.
and he can and on top of that, we trust
And
Shotty's judgment.
well, and I will say this: I don't really want shoddy picking players either, but I will say this: one of your strong points is Max Crosby can play any defense, so he's not coach. He's not tied to a coach. So
Yeah,
if you do get Max Crosby, if your coach is Eberflus or somebody else, Max Crosby is going to fit
let
whatever
me go.
you're doing. And that's what we need to do when we draft. We need to stop drafting players that fit a coach, and we need to just have a defensive philosophy that says these are the kind of players we want.
I'm gonna
Bobby
go check on
Wagner's
him.
been
I'm gonna go
playing.
check on him real quick. You
Oh,
just keep
go
talking.
ahead.
All
Okay.
right.
So, uh, what we need to do, guys, is just have a defensive philosophy that says these are the kind of players we want. So, Max Crosby, Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner, they can play in any defense. If you have someone like, Kenny Clark, he can pretty much play in any defense. Um, some of our other players that we have, stop drafting players that fit coaches and just draft good players. And that's what's impacted our drafts over the years. Even the same at running back. I'm going to say this. Uh, we need a change on our running back philosophy too. Is I'm kind of hearing Shotty likes a certain kind of running back. We just need to pick good running backs.
And then
So
I want to add to this real quick because it just be like clicking at different points. It's like excuse me, but it's like Dan Quinn came in here. Dan Quinn he had this thing where he wanted 6'2". He wanted his corners to be 6'2", 220, I believe, and he
yeah,
wanted his linebackers to be a certain build. And what you had then is that was the reason why we haven't been able to stop the run in 5 or 6 years. That's the reason, and it's the reason because of the way that Dan Quinn planted that seed. We couldn't stop the run before him, but We couldn't stop the run before him. It wasn't because of the scheme. It was just because we had bad players. But and
Well,
then
but
Shawnee was
I'm gonna
always
push
hurt.
back.
But
Push back on one thing. He never got the linebackers that he wanted. The front office told him he couldn't get the
I'll give you
linebackers he
that.
wanted, so he was forced with LV and Clark. But everything
But
else, you're right.
yeah, and then he also liked that hybrid safety linebacker, Dante Fowler type of player, to where they
Yeah,
can play both. And then,
like
then
Bell.
also, yeah, like Bill. And then like his defensive tackles, he didn't invest in that scheme doesn't call for you to have like big defensive tackles. What that scheme
Yeah,
calls for you to have is like dominant edge rushers. And that's why it's kind of like if you get Maxx Crosby in here, this scheme will work a little bit better. And I want to tell people this too, if you're listening, just understand this right here. Now, everybody always say the Cowboys, you know, like for instance, they played Washington last week, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's a great game," and the defense made changes and all this and all that. Okay, that's one thing. But my thing is like this: it really depends on who you play, what type of quarterback that you play. You want to be multiple, but I kind of lost my train of thought. But it's just like this: these teams, like when you're playing cover two, this is like I don't understand why how come everybody doesn't notice this. All these teams play cover two. All these teams play a hybrid of zone and man coverage. Every one of them do. And what you see constantly is, and I mean, to me, it'd be spot on.
well,
What
all of them do except your guy.
Right. And what you see is constantly what you see is that the quarterbacks that are seasoned and that are smart, those quarterbacks, they eat zone up. And it always works. I mean, like for instance, like
Hmm.
when Dak played Washington, they were in zone the whole game. He kills them. Like when Dak played, every game that Dak has won and put up those points, that other team was playing zone. Like even when we played the Bears, that other team they were playing zone the whole game. That's this Green Bay was too. They played the exact same defense that we play. The
So let
linebackers are doing the same thing.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm gonna push back on one area of it. So I think all teams play zone. They play a certain percentage of it. They play a certain percentage of man. Also, what a lot of teams do, even though they're playing zone, they're dialing up pressure. They bring in five. They blitzing. What
Mhm.
Eberflus does, he just plays zone, and that's it. He doesn't
And
bring
see,
extra pressure. He doesn't blitz. Now he did last week, but he can't be trusted. What he did last week, there was such an outcry about how hard is how terrible his defense is. Shotty went into meetings. So basically, what he did last week, it could easily just be a one-off. So
but
what we're gonna need to see him do the next 10 weeks is do what he did last Sunday.
well, see,
I
this
don't
is
trust
why
that he's gonna do that.
this is kind of why I'm saying it's a slippery slope because, for instance, it depends on who you playing. Because, like for instance, what he did last week worked, okay, but for instance, like okay, like if you have a man like these other teams, for instance, if they run a zone, Dak is going to pick that apart. If they run a man, there are not too many corners that can cover CD Lamb and George Pickens. So you really kind of just screwed either way it goes. And that's why the offense is really humming because they can't you can't man these receivers, number one, and you can't zone this quarterback. That's not going to work. And you can't zone Shoddy either. That's not going to work. Shoddy's
I,
going to pick the zone apart. So it's kind of like this. Like next week, we playing the Broncos this coming up week. The Broncos can't run the ball at all. Okay, they have Bo Nix, right? Bo Nix, if you playing man coverage against Cortland Sutton and whoever else they got, Cortland Sutton is better than any corner that we have. If you put man coverage, if you have Bland playing man coverage against Cortland Sutton, he's going to eat that up all day. But if you playing zone against Cortland Sutton and Bo Nix is not going to be able to pass the ball on the zone because he's not a seasoned quarterback. He doesn't understand the zone. He's going to their offense is not good. They can't run the
well,
ball.
okay,
They don't
so
pass the ball well.
here's my pushback to what you're saying. Okay, so you said that zone Dak just does good against zone.
Yeah, because he's a
I can
seasoned quarterback.
I can absolutely show you some games, and they're going to be games this year where the team is playing zone, and Dak is gonna struggle because there is no absolute that says if you're playing zone, Dak is unstoppable. No, he'll struggle against zone occasionally.
We haven't seen it this year at all. He's been playing an MVP. He's been having an MVP season in the majority of the
He
teams.
he struggled against Chicago.
But we also scored 40 points against Chicago, right?
No, we didn't.
What was the score in Chicago?
Pull it up. We didn't score 40 points against Chicago. The game
Well,
was yeah.
let me see. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I'm just saying
We definitely
quarterbacks
didn't
like.
score. We didn't score 40 points again. We didn't score 40 points against Carolina either, by the way.
Well, I mean, didn't when we like yeah we scored 14 points. You're right,
Yeah.
but
So my,
you,
my whole point is
they also had like
defensive.
a 12-minute drive down the field. But go ahead.
Yeah. So my whole point is what teams do. Good defenses, they play both. They play man and zone, and any quarterback, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, at different times, they're gonna struggle against zone and man. But here's the problem with our defensive coordinator. He only does one thing, and that's a problem. Now he does something different when he's forced to. So
Yeah,
that being said, I
that
agree
is
with you. By and large, Dak is gonna be okay with zone or man.
right, but
Uh,
certain quarterbacks are not. Like for instance, like it would behoove them and it would benefit them to run 80-20 zone this week. That's what it would be.
uh,
It would be better for them to do that. I mean, why would you want your cornerbacks that can't cover these cornerbacks like Trequez Bridges that you just met last week, and then why would you have these guys that are not like they're
so
why would you
I
have
can tell.
why would you have Caleb under what circumstances would you think that Caleb Carson should play zone against Cortland Sutton? I mean should play man against Cortland Sutton. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's
He
just not
should play.
something
He
that
should play. He should play both.
he should play both. Every time he plays man, it's gonna be a completion. So
I
he
just
can
don't
play
agree
both.
with that. But
I don't
yeah,
know
we
how you
just
don't agree
disagree.
with that. This man is better than that man. Can if I put CD Lamb against Trequez Bridges, who you betting on each time?
I'm gonna bet on CD. But what I'm
Regardless
absolute.
if
But
they
but here
playing man
here's
or
what I'm
zone.
here's what I'm gonna do. This is what I will say, and then we can move on. If CD Lamb is facing a team
Uh
and he
huh.
knows they're gonna pay 90% zone, if we play this same team 3 weeks in a row or
Mm-hmm.
similar teams and they play 90% zone,
Yes.
CD is gonna be very successful. If for three
Yes.
weeks in a row he's playing teams that do a mix, he's not gonna be as successful. But CD is gonna be CD regardless.
Right, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. The ratio of him being successful is going to sway heavily toward the zone because there. I mean, it's
Yeah,
going to. It's going to. It's because of like. I'm sorry. It's going to sway heavily towards the man coverage because it's one person that you have to beat, and you're better than this one person. So if you're
yeah,
playing zone, that means that this cornerback is going to deal with you, and the safety over the top is going to deal with you, and
yeah. But
possibly the
the element,
linebacker.
the element that you're not counting, you're just saying the man and the safety. You also have a defensive line. So if you're playing man against CD and you're bringing pressure, that's going to affect the man coverage. It's going to help. So all I'm
Yeah,
saying is this right here. What I'm saying is back to where I'm going with. I'm not disagreeing with you about what Dak can do, what CD can do. What I'm saying is our defensive coordinator, he likes to play 90% zone, and when he does that, you're going to be on the bad side
no,
of
no,
this
you
whole
absolutely
equation.
you have to absolutely mix it up. But
Yeah.
certain you have to mix it up. But certain games you should mix it up, and you should be more than one on the other. Like last week, for instance, he was 50-50 and it worked. This week, what the statistics show is that this quarterback struggles with zone coverages, and he doesn't
Mm.
have the receivers to beat zone coverages. But he has the receivers to
Yeah.
beat man coverage. So
We
what
just
you will
we
want to
just
do,
disagree. We disagree on that. I think this week right here, if you play 80% or 90% zone, Sean Payton, first of all, he's going to be prepared for that. So Sean Payton and Bo Nix, you play 80 to 90% zone, we're going to lose this game.
What'll happen if we play 80 to 90% man?
I don't think you should. I think you should mix it up.
So you think it should be 50-50 down the middle?
He should do exactly what he did last week. He should do exactly what he did against the Jets. And that's what most coordinators do. That's what Robert Saleh does. That's what Steve Spagnuolo does. Steve Spagnuolo does more blitzing. The good coordinators in the league, they mix it up. What I'm saying is, your guy that you have, he doesn't do that.
No, he doesn't. We agree with that. I'm just saying that.
And the reason we lost to the Panthers and the Bears is because they knew he was going to play 80 to 90% zone. I can't even tell you who the receivers of the Panthers are. I
Right.
have no
Yeah.
idea.
And in that situation, he probably would have did better if he would have played 80 to 90% man.
Absolutely. On that 4th and 3,
Hmm.
he shouldn't have played the defense he was in. But we'll look. So we're gonna go back and forth on that. I like the debate. It's interesting. What I'm gonna down this hill on is that we don't have the right defensive coordinator.
No.
He's gonna do exactly what he's gonna do. This is just like Kellen a couple of years ago. We knew we needed to run the football. Kellen really
But
wasn't
see,
committed to it. So what Kellen would do is he would just have a game where he ran the ball 35 times just to shut people up, and then
yeah. See, that's
that's what
my
Matt
thing.
Eberflus is.
So that's my thing with the Cowboys, and that's what the offense is doing, but the defense is not. But it's just like the it's just so crazy that we have the best wide receiver duo in the league because I can just use them as an example. If I have a defense, if I got the Cowboys defense, if I got a defense and I'm playing the Cowboys, I'm gonna be very, very, very leery about having my corners cover CD Lambs and George Pickens in man coverage. They're gonna get beat 90% of the time, man in man coverage because
I would be okay with them being in man if I'm putting pressure on the quarterback.
right. But you need to like cloud cover those types of receivers. You need to have
Yeah.
the
You need to
receiver
give
on
them
here.
different looks.
Yeah, you need to have the cornerback on him, and you need to have a safety over the top to help. Because
Yeah.
if you don't, then you're gonna be looking like how we be looking when they be just like smoke. Well, like how George Pickens just be smoking the receivers. This is like that video that's going around of Marshawn Lattimore. He on the sideline crying because Dan Quinn keep putting him in.
But he's there, but
But Dan Quinn keep putting him in man coverage, and they are killing him. And it's just like, yo, he needs help over here, man. You can't just leave him on this island by himself with George Pickens. That's not gonna work. It's just like like George Pickens did
but
to them last year with the Steelers. How y'all gonna line up and why are you lining up and trying to press CD Lamb and George Pickens? Like they not gonna just smoke you and score a touchdown. They're gonna do that every time. So you can do that if you want to, but it's not gonna
do
work.
we know so uh,
Mm-hmm.
Vance is I don't know what they run, whatever they're doing, man or zone. Dak knows how to play both. He'll
Mm-hmm.
he'll be good with both, and what we're gonna have to
Yeah.
have the formula for us to win every game. It doesn't really matter what the other defense is playing. The key for our season, the key for our games is our defense has to get 3 and outs. Our defense has to stop the opposing team from going on 6 and 10 minute drives. And
They run a
Dak
3-4.
and Dak will be fine as long as our defense is mixing up the coverages. We're getting some 3 and outs, and we're not letting the other team, drive down the ball for 10 minutes. So
See,
our
like, can I look
season,
at this? Yeah. So
yeah,
look at this. Let me read this. It says Vance Joseph, because he runs a 3-4 base with a focus on attacking the quarterback through a high blitz rate.
hmm
Um, they primarily rely on man coverage, like cover 1 and cover 3 with pressure coming from all over the field. They gonna try that. We gonna put up 40 points on them because they don't have the
uh,
they don't have the corners to run man coverage
again,
against George
again,
Pickens.
again. we're gonna put up 40 points on them if we have the ball. But if
Yeah.
we don't have the ball, you can't score when you don't have the ball. So the question about what you just read is, what is our defense doing? If our defense is putting them at 3 and out, 6 and outs,
Mhm.
making them punt,
Yeah.
we're playing a good game. We can score 40 points, but if we don't have the ball, it's Chicago all over again. You're gonna have 14 points.
It says that their offensive scheme is balanced that emphasizes a physical run game with wide zone concepts and a horizontal pass game designed to complement the run. So you're gonna have
And
to
this is why I agree with you and B Bird on the Max Crosby trade because Max Crosby, not Cosby, Max Crosby, he's gonna improve our defense. So our
yeah.
year is gonna be determined by how many times our defense gets the opposing team out on 3, 6 downs, and not allowing the team to drive the ball. Because I agree with you on this. If you keep giving Dak the ball, he can
Mhm.
absolutely put up 40 points a game. He can do it, but he has to
Mhm.
have the ball to do it.
Uh, you know what I'm liking to see from like what I'm loving I see from Dak. It's almost damn near like Dak trusts. I don't want to say he trusts Pickens more than he trusts CD. We know that's not true, but
Mm.
the looks that he gives Pickens over CD, he trusts Pickens way more. Like for instance, if for instance, if a guy is glued to CD, or if CD got like two people on him, and if CD got one person on him and CD is this person is glued to CD, Dak gonna look for somebody else. But if one person is glued to Pickens, Dak is still gonna throw it to him.
But that's the advantage of having Pickens. But I think when
Like think
CD,
about it.
yeah,
For instance, think about it. On those drives last week, remember I was just calling the play out several times. Like there's nothing else that you're gonna do right here besides back up and throw it to Pickens as far as you can. Because that has a high success rate. Every time that you throw the ball to this man down the field like that, it don't matter if it's one person on him or two people on him. He gonna catch the ball or he gonna get a pass interference. It happens every time. Every time, just about.
mm,
So it's like, and then it's just like when you do throw it to CD, CD can score because they literally don't know who to cover because
yeah.
we really they they really did a good job by bringing Pickens in here. That was really good.
And
Now they have to keep him.
you gotta realize too that we're gonna get better because Turpin is gonna get back up to speed. CD's gonna get back up to speed. We still messing a number two tight end. We gotta talk about this tight end thing too. Now Jake Ferguson is having a good year. Still got Ferguson critics out there.
We
Our
got our
number
number
two
two
tight
tight end. We got him. He on the
who,
team. They don't use
who is that?
him. Brevin.
I don't think he's a two.
He be whooping them. He be whooping them. Whooping them people that he be going up against every time he be in the game. He be like
He's a good blocker.
he be whooping people. He be picking them up and throwing them, and he can catch. They just. But you're
So
right.
what do you think about trying to get Fairweather into the rotation? First of all, is he on the practice squad?
I don't know. I don't
See if you
know.
can look that up.
I, I'm gonna look it up. I don't know, but I kind of would want to see Brevin Span Ford over Fairweather. Me personally, I mean, we really need to get another tight end in the draft. That's what we need to
Brevin
do.
Span forward to me, when I watch him play, he's a bigger Scoon. He's not really athletic. He doesn't have great hands. He doesn't have great movement. So you need another guy that
Yeah,
has better movement, better rack. Fairweather um, kind of fits the mold. I was watching. We're gonna see him this week too. Evan Ingram. Just watch Evan Ingram play. He's been around for a while. But he catches the ball, you better figure out what you're gonna do. Is he gonna get the ball down the field? So we got what are some of the other good tight ends that I'm trying to think about?
you got
Obviously,
Evan Ingram.
Kittle was that way back in the day. Who was some other good tight end? Ferguson. He's playing good. I just think we
Oh,
need more.
he probably like ain't he? I would have to assume that he's like the number one tight end in the league right now. Am I tripping on that? He got
He
how
might be
many?
with yardage and touchdowns. He might be.
He
He
gotta
might
be. He
be.
got 6 touchdowns, right?
You still got some Ferguson crits. I just think we need a second guy that Dak can go to. But in our offense, there's not that many balls to go around.
And I'm gonna
But
tell y'all somebody that y'all ain't paying attention to that's finna come back, and I'm telling y'all, he gonna be a difference maker. And people not even thinking about him right now. Jonathan Mingo.
man, but me and you, we are just not gonna be agreeing on this show. I mean, so here's a question I have on Mingo.
Hmm.
If you activate him, who's sitting down? Is it Flournoy? That's really your only option. But why?
Yeah, you can split them. You can split them.
Man, I think our offense, give the Cowboys credit for putting together some talent on the offensive side of the ball. I think we're at the point offensively. We just don't have that many balls to go around. You got Turpin. Let me excuse me. You got CD. You got Pickens, Ferguson, Turpin. You got Flournoy, Mingo, Tolbert. We're gonna talk about this too. We gotta have like a trade deadline show. There's some guys on this team that I'm trying to move them. I'm trying to move Tolbert. Okay, man. I would kick the tires on Mingo. I like Flournoy. I want to see Holden get a shot. So I just don't. I don't know what Mingo's gonna do, where he's gonna play.
Hmm.
Who's gonna sit down for Mingo?
Like I
So
said, it's gonna be. I would definitely sit down Jalen Tover for him, but you know, you got
yeah,
TJ, you got Tyler Warren, George Kittle, Travis Kelsey, Dallas Goddard, Mark Andrews, Cade Otton, Hunter Henry, Kyle Pitts, Dalton Kincaid, and Joku.
Ferguson might Ferguson might be better than those guys. I like Kincaid. I like Laporta. Laporta should have been our draft pick in the 23 draft.
Yeah,
We should have took Laporta instead of Mozzie, by the way. Um,
yeah,
and Laporta went at the top of the second round. If you
hmm
had just taken Laporta at 23, is that where Mozzie was picking 23?
yeah.
You could have had Laporta, and you could have had Achan when you took Schoon, but but I
Now,
digress.
this no, and then we don't have to we ain't gotta watch this video is a minute and 15 seconds. I know you probably can see on your screen, but this is what I wanted to show you. Now, this is bit like I said, this video is a minute, so just look at this real quick, and then we can close out. But look at this for a minute. This is just a minute. It's just 1 minute. So watch the video for 1 minute. Now, this is every route that Jonathan Mingo ran in his debut against. I mean, in week preseason or whatever. I guess. So I think this is the one I watched. Yeah, this might be it. Yeah, I think this is the one I watched. He's open on every play. Look at that. He open on just about every route that he run. Like he open right there.
Mhm.
He open. Watch. Look at that. He open. He open right now. He's open. He open on every play. Look at this. Like he be running these routes where he be like, oh, he open. He'd be like, yo, he get open on 90. He open right there. You know what I
I would
mean?
be good.
Like,
I would be good with Mingo if you don't have Tolbert and Flournoy.
look at him. He
I'm
wide
good.
open. Look at this. Look at on this play. He
So
open.
I think we answered our question. If you're gonna get Mingo involved, you're gonna have Tolbert sitting, or you're gonna trade Tolbert. I would absolutely, if I could get a fifth round pick or a sixth round pick for Tolbert, I would do it.
Uh,
Um,
yeah, if
but
he
yeah,
had Dak, look at him on this play. If he had Dak throwing him the ball, look at that play. That would have been a touchdown if that was Dak. Uh,
hmm
you know what I'm saying? Like on this play right here, this would have been a touchdown. He's wide open. You know what I'm saying? And he big. Look at this play.
yeah.
That's a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? He open. You know what I'm saying? He got overthrown. That's a touchdown if that's Dak.
So I think we resolved something. I think when you activate Mingo, whenever you do,
Hmm.
he's playing for Tolbert. I would try to trade Tolbert. If I
Yeah,
can get a six round pick for Tolbert, I'm taking it.
yeah, because Mingo is gonna be better than Tolbert. You know,
So the
now
question that we
if he
gotta
get out
ask,
there and
is
he
he
can't
better than
catch,
Flournoy?
yeah, that's gonna be the one you're gonna have to look at. And I think the answer to that is yes, he is. That's what I think. I
But
don't
going
think
back
I
into the
don't
game,
think go ahead.
what we saying?
I don't think he's ever been given the opportunity to do anything.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people like Mingo. So, but yeah, I'm with the Mingo situation. But you can't have Tolbert and Mingo. I do want to keep Flournoy active. I'm really excited about the receiving core overall. We really got this room turned around. So our next thing we got to do, we got to get the safety room and the linebacker room upgraded, and that's kind of our next move. So we can go ahead and wrap. I think this was a nice little show and get some content out and kind of keep things moving, change the algorithm up, just promote our channel. And so I know if you notice, we up to 260 subscribers now,
That's
and
crazy.
I got to reach out to Bieber and let him know that our Sunday post game show, we had some technical issues. We were dog sitting and way too much stuff going on here, but we almost had 500 people on that viewing that show. That was crazy.
Yeah, it'd be
So
like working like that.
shout out to Bieber.
Shout
And
out to
then
B Bird.
Our Friday night thing that we're doing, a lot of people watching that Friday night. So we're gonna keep that going, and yeah, we're gonna just kind of do some different things, try to get some more people to watch and kind of see how it's going. So,
I
but
want to get
yeah, just
two shows I want to get on. I want to get us on Law Show and I want to get us on Mark Holmes Show.
I mean, you talked to them before, so I mean, you the producer, so yeah,
Yeah,
you have to do all of that. And
I think I'm gonna be able to swing that too.
we've had some interactions with Boss, but haven't been able to hook up with him yet. But we good. It's
Well,
like.
bosses, that's he right here. He local. I don't like I said. It's not gonna be no
Mhm.
problem to get on with boss. That ain't no big deal. He's like
So shout out to Big Time Show. I listen to his show. What I do, I listen to a lot of content creators during a day, and
mhm.
that's kind of how I catch up. So I just be looking for content, and
I listen to Big Time Show just about every time he come on. I got the
mhm.
notification and B Bird
Yep.
too, but Law
Lou,
and then Lou and
the Lou's videos, you gotta really be like paying attention because he be breaking it down to like the third and fourth level.
yeah, it's like an
Uh,
educational video when you watch the Lou video.
the educational, and you gotta have, it's like you be in class, you gotta pay attention.
Yeah, it
That's what
is.
that's what Lou be putting out. So I listen to a lot of Lou stuff, and
The
so
main
yeah,
person
it's a
I
lot
listen
of
to is Broadus. I mean I like Broadus and what's the name show. I love a show.
fish.
Well, yeah, I listen to Fish every day, but I'm talking about Broadus and
Botch.
Gotch. And then I listen to I listen to Jeff and because of Clarence Hill and because of Jesse. Jesse be, like I said, Jesse, he done came a long way. At first Jesse used to be like, I don't know if I can just listen to Jesse like that. He
But
can't even
Jesse's not a cowboy guy, so he
but
should
he didn't came a
definitely.
long way. You know what I'm saying? As
Yeah.
far as like how he wearing that Cowboys thing more
Mm.
now. And it's kind of like he's he gives you the perspective that you need to hear because he's been a player, so it's kind of like he got the inside. He be knowing what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So, but
There's
yeah, shout out to
a lot of good stuff out there. So people tell them how to find our show and like and subscribe. And we still working on some things and stuff that you working on. And
yeah, and you find our show. It's really simple to type in Fastcast FASCAST. That's one of the things that we changed, and it really worked because every time I type in Fastcast, it really pops right up. And so you can just type that in on any platform that we're on, which is TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we gonna pop right up. We the only people with that name. So, it's gonna pop
yeah,
right up. Type it in. You can just type in Fastcast YouTube. And if you type in Fastcast YouTube on Google, it pulls right up. It says Father and Son Cowboys and Sports Talk. It's what it says. Soon as it's
and
the
you got to
first option.
emphasize fast is FAS, not FAST.
Right. It's FAS because it is something called Fast Cast. So it
Okay,
is.
yeah.
So we are Fastcast, FASCAST. You type that in on any platform, and we gonna pop right up. And it'd be wonderful if y'all can give us a like and a subscribe. And we pretty much are have been consistent. We come on every 2 days or so, and we really stay locked in with the Cowboys content and all the Cowboys news. So anything that's going on related to the Cowboys, we gonna pretty much have something to say about it. So we had our Wednesday show. It was a good show. We've been on for about an hour or so. Um, we got the Broncos coming up this week, so we
It's
got
gonna
a
be a tough game. The playing up there is like it's a very tough place. The last time we won there was in '92. You was 3 years old, and that was the game where Jimmy Johnson pulled Charles Haley into a stall during halftime, and you know,
that's
and
wild.
the thing I remember about the game, it was like 20 something degrees. It was a little bit of snow on the ground, but that was the
Mm.
year the Cowboys won their first Super Bowl. So we were not like a Super Bowl team. We were just trying to work our way there. But the crazy thing about that game, I don't remember exactly what Charles Haley did because it was a very competitive game. But Jimmy got to do what Jimmy got to do. But and then I don't remember also when Charles Haley came out in the second half what he did. So I got to do some more research on this thing. But yeah, they
That's
won a
crazy.
game like in the last minute. Emmett scored a touchdown. It was like a uh, very tough game, but yeah, it's tough to play up there. And I just the stadium, the crowd up there, man, it's a tough place to play. So that being said, and we're gonna talk about this on the OGs thing, B Bird, me and Big Time.
We have not won up
The
there. We have
and
not.
the yeah, the key is gonna be defensively getting them out the field, 3 and out, 6 and out. If you let these people drive this ball, we're gonna lose this game.
Not only have we not beat them up there since '92, we haven't beat them at all since '98. I mean since '95.
I remember the game here that we lost to them.
We lost to them in '98, 2001, 2005, 2009, and 2013.
And by the way, I watched the game last night when they scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. I just wanted to see that myself. It was pretty crazy how it all happened. Um, so I did. I watched the game last night. The Giants got very little room for error.
Yeah, like somebody should have been fired for that. And then I just want to point out that Bo Nix has 1,556 passing yards. J.K. Dobbins has 523 running yards, and Cortland Sutton has 469 receiving yards, and they lead the team. So that ought to let you know where things are at with them because that ain't good. Their
And
offense ain't good.
I'm gonna keep saying it like a broken record, and
It's weakness on weakness.
I'm staying on business. Matt Eberflus, we watching you, bro. I'm telling you, I'm not giving you no, I'm not giving you no, what am I trying to say?
I'm not
I don't
giving
want
you
to
no
hear it.
leeway, no
I
room,
don't want to
no.
hear it. I do not care. I do not think you're a good coordinator. You're a get off my lawn guy. You don't like grits. And
Thought you was
so,
finna have a
look,
heart attack on the sideline last week.
yeah, you just ain't it, man. So we gotta talk
And
about that. We're gonna keep it. I know Lou, shout out to Lou. Doing their
yeah,
post game show, Lou was saying the same thing I was saying. It's like, come on, man, I'm not, no,
but I mean,
nope.
we've been saying this for a long time. But when they hired Eberflus, we knew right then and there. Oh my God, this
Get
was a
off my lawn, guy.
typical Jerry
Mhm.
hire, man. This guy is just not the answer. And Trayvon was at practice today, and they
And
were saying
Trayvon needs to play. Last Sunday we got Bridges. He's looking really tall over there. Uh, we got
and
to
then he
talk about.
said, then Jerry said, if he'll play and if he'll buy into the scheme, and basically confirming to me that this ain't got nothing to do with no concussion. Trayvon was like, fam, I ain't trying to play for dude. That's what happened. And he said, I got a concussion. I don't want to play with dude. That's what he said. And that's why Jerry said, he told me what happened.
What Trayvon got to do is if you're not going to be traded, if you're going to be on the team, And it's all about your teammates. You really got to just put the coach to the side and just go out there and play. You know,
Because
you
that's
can,
exactly what he did. That's his way of doing what Micah would be doing. What Micah would
yeah.
be doing is charging up and saying all kind of crazy stuff in the post game and saying that the coach ain't good. What Trayvon is doing is he playing man when Eberflus call his own, and
Yeah.
and he getting into it with him at practice, and he told
But at the
him like
same,
I'm not playing for this dude like that. That's what happened.
and to be fair, you know, Trey is injured. He's not 100%, but he just needs to play. He don't need to be
Yeah,
sitting at home on a Sunday when we got a game.
nah, you can't be doing that, bro. Like Scottie Pippen did.
Yeah.
Can't do that. You
So
can't just say
he
I'm
just
doing
needs
it.
to be on the field with his team and just let the chips fall from there and then
He
you
quit
know,
on the team. He
I
did.
mean, we
I
don't
mean,
really know what happened.
we don't, but I'm just saying that's what I think he did.
Yeah, he just I mean, well he needs to play Sunday in the rest
I don't
because
know if he
what
gonna face today. He wasn't cleared
because
to
what
practice.
we're behind the eight ball because of the Carolina and Chicago game. I don't think people understand that. Those two games right there were just no way we
And
should have lost those games.
no way we should have lost those games. But to be fair, we might have just ran up against a team that's against two teams that's really good. We might have just ran up on some teams that are really just ascending right now and playing the good.
You ran up on two teams that your defensive coordinator didn't prepare for. He had
Yeah,
no game plan.
there you go.
He threw up his skirt. That's what
Yeah,
you
that's
ran
what
up
you did.
against.
What you did was you ran up against two coaches that straight up out coached your defensive coordinator. And you finna run up against one this week if you're not careful. Because Sean Payton is not he's a very smart coach and
Yeah.
he would just
Oh
kill
yeah.
Eberflus if Eberflus not on his game. It won't be nothing that we can do.
You said it earlier. Sean Payton. You talk about the Cowboys going 40. That's what Sean Payton's gonna try to do Sunday. The only answer you had to that is you need to get him off the field and get a ball to Dak. Dak, we had a deer in the headlights look. If he's getting this ball occasionally because they're just going up and down the field,
They
up
can't
and
get
down
in
the
a
field.
rhythm. You need
Yeah.
pass rush. You need to be blitzing the whole game.
Javante Williams will be ready to play. Uh,
Yeah.
but they gotta have a ball to do their thing. And if your defense is just out there doing, doing they zone thing, so
That
we'll
ain't
see.
gonna
But we're
work.
gonna go ahead and wrap. We're gonna go ahead and wrap.
All
And
right, y'all. So we'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And if you watch the video and or you watching it on the replay and you haven't subscribed, please do so. And we'll see y'all on the next one.